drafted and disseminated to the board members. So there's 2 items on there that are not on the draft agenda. So we put it up so you can see those 2 items as well. Number 8 action items 2 and 3 are not on the draft agenda. That was printed out for you guys. All right. If we can, Lorraine, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lorraine, yeah, will you be able to do the roll call on those? Okay, please. Here.
No, here. Lorena, here.
Here.
Rosemary Alanis.
Alrighty. At this time, I'd like to call for public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public. This includes those on Zoom to address the board on any matter related to the commission that is not listed on the agenda. Comments will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment at this time?
Make sure the audio. Hello? Okay, 1057 Mill Street. I was here last time on the record and I was requesting information which I did send to the Selma Healthcare District Attorney. At that time, it was Ken Price still. And you guys had, what I did receive for the minutes was the minutes for, let's see, it's procedures on the next regular meeting. Trying to look for the date on this for September 9th, 2024. And on that agenda on 13, members and comments announcements, and it states right here on the minutes that Rosemary Alanis announced that she had visited 2 city meetings and to introduce the board and herself and to let the city know what it is that the board does and what it hopes to accomplish. The meeting visited were the Kiwanis, the Selma Cares, and the Methodist Church. So my concern here is the fact that she went and introduced prior to this new board. So it was the previous board. So she went and spoke to 3 groups in our community. And my question still is, I would like to still see the agenda. Who put this on the agenda and who was the vote to allow her to go speak for the entire board? That's what I'm looking for. So I'll be leaving this with the chair so he can try to track that down and see what's happening with this, where the Selma Healthcare Board is allowing 1 member to go speak for the entire board. And if that was basis on something that was true, once we do some investigation on this through the new chair, maybe you guys can come back and refix this and come back to another meeting and maybe decide on what you guys are going to want to do. Maybe apologize to the community that that was not allowed. And with the new board, you guys might want to just put it on the agenda for a vote. But if there was an agenda, which I look for them to vote on this, for her to do that, then that was fine. But I still would think you guys need to put this on the agenda. So you guys are a new board and you guys need to vote for this and send letters to all three organizations that that should have never happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll move on to potential conflicts of interest. Any board member who has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Are there any conflicts of interest tonight? Alrighty. Approval of past minutes for April 22nd, 2025, regular quarterly meeting minutes. They don't necessarily have to be today since it is a special meeting, but if we would like to approve them today, we can. Motion to approve by Treasurer Gallardo, seconded by Director Avalos. Yes.
You first, I'm sorry. Letty? Or Gallardo, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Avalos, yes. Herrera,
Yes. Yes. Alrighty. The next item will be the information item. So an update from an ad hoc committee formed to explore establishing a program to help feed the senior community, review of draft purpose statement and or program guidelines. This was given to us in a form of a packet, so it's spearheaded by Director Avalos. So I'll give you the, if you'd like to speak.
all right. I want to let you know that I personally had a meal at the senior citizens, and it was provided by the EOC. It was not a hot meal. It was lukewarm and really not very tasty. Okay, and I felt like our citizens, our senior citizens need something more than this. They deserve better food. And sometimes they're late getting there. And so they now have a stove, a new stove that has been purchased for them from the city. But the thing is, it's not hooked up yet. And I was wondering if by chance we could, a lot of, because I know during COVID, we allotted money to give the seniors meals. And I was hoping to get the same amount of money for the seniors to have the hot, hot meals and purchase those meals from vendors here in Selma, from the restaurants. I've already checked on 2 different places. I've budgeted for like $10 a person, $40, 40 people I'm budgeting for right now. And besides going to the Senior Citizens Center, it also provides socialization for these people. A lot of them, they're by themselves, they're alone. And it's best for them to get out and socialize, talk with people. This keeps them mentally stable. They don't go into depression. This is better for them. So besides doing their bodies with the meals, it helps with their mental status too. So that is my perception on this. And to give them either 1 meal a week or, every other week, And then we also have somebody that once the stove is hooked up, we have somebody that is willing to go in and cook meals. I don't know. That I don't know yet. Okay. Approve it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and that's my proposal.
$400 once a week?
Yeah, about 400 once a week. 'Cause like I
Once a
said,
week, once a month? One,
once if you want, or every other week, it would be 800. And then,
so
400 is serving, and what you're asking is frequency.
yeah,
So the, I guess not necessarily difficulty, but I guess the point that that the board gets to at this point is, so this is technically a board-driven initiative. And the board-driven initiative we've done before, it had a very specific purpose. It was, COVID, there was a program that existed. So like COVID was already allowing or having people get these meals driven to their homes for seniors, and it was very specific. This one essentially is a brand, not necessarily brand new. It has the same kind of purpose. It's just now doing it from restaurants, not from a kitchen that was already doing that. So so as a board, figuring out the process of which one of our board members comes up with this sort of deal and goes forth with, puts this together. Essentially, this is what uh, it's just like the guidelines that would come in through an organization. Our board should probably, should follow the same sort of guidelines, which she did. But also, it's not exactly like an organization coming in. This would be a board-led, board-driven initiative that Board Member Avalos would work on. So, developing some sort of purpose statement that could not only be used for her initiative that she wants to spearhead, but also future initiatives of the board is something that we want to continue to do with, the same, what is it called, standard across the board if anybody else has any board-led initiatives in the future.
So I just have a comment on the last time we did a similar initiative was for COVID. We put 50,000 aside. So I would think that we would do probably the same thing here, since we don't have detail of when, how many. It would be just like a 5,000 set aside, and then just kind of
use it till it's
dispense
finished.
of funds based on how many meals you served and when they were served.
Yes.
I'm just,
Yeah.
You have a question out there?
if meals ever get served, I mean, do you know if meals ever get brought in, like, where like hot meals anywhere from the city?
Kind of to address your question is when we were doing it with COVID, it was the healthcare district that was funding us as well as CBDG. And so the whole purpose of that, the money that we had received was to use our local restaurants. And so at that time, we were widely using G's Restaurant. We were using Rose's Pizza. We were even using Mexican restaurant. Yeah. Rodolfo's, we were using Rodolfo's and then we had some other local businesses that would come as
Then
well.
what do we,
and do meals, though.
5,000 till it runs out, till the year? Okay.
Yeah, so, Mike, I guess this would be a legal question. Would this initiative have the ability to be set up similar to that last one that we did? And if so, is there anything that we would need further besides just deciding an amount tonight? And then what next steps would,
Question for tonight's item, this is an information.
Yeah.
That would be to take the policy statement or a purpose statement that's then adopted at the next.
okay,
So I think this is last time that it was discussed. Now we have some more detail in writing. I'd recommend finalizing it for the option.
4 weeks, yeah. No,
Wait,
July, it's a month and 2 weeks.
oh, July, I thought we were doing June.
Or is it June? I was gonna say, I think it's July. Yeah, July 17th.
Okay.
I didn't think it was June.
And what do I need to do?
Okay, so essentially we'd be putting it together as, we would also be putting together the formal, purpose statement for future initiatives. So whatever guidelines we put together for this one would be what any other board member would use to start an initiative on their own. So that, from here on out, hey, if any board member wants to start an initiative, they have the guideline to do so. So this is a pretty,
So 5,000
simple
till
one.
it runs out.
And then I just wanted everybody to know that, when I started thinking of this, I was thinking, okay, that we would be buying from our local residents, vendors. And then in that way, we would be giving back to the city. 'Cause currently they get from EOCs from Fresno. So it's like, we're here in Selma, keep it here in Selma.
okay. So then I guess we'll work together to make sure that all,
Next proposal?
yeah.
Okay.
If we have any public comments on this,
I just want to compliment the board on the initiative of the ad hoc committee and for taking that idea of the ad hoc committee and expanding it. I think it's really great. You're going out to the community, seeing some need and coming back and bringing it back to your board. I think the city council and all the other boards in the city can take a great example from that initiative. Thank you. And I also just would like to add just a slight note of urgency in, because I think we've all seen EOC has some financial issues right now, and they may not be able to deliver the food in the future. So I'm really glad you're going to be deliberating and discussing this at the next council meeting, because I think it's a very timely topic. Again, I think it's great that you're going to keep it local, and I think it's also great that you are going to have some standbys as well to cook the food. And I know we'll probably be asking about the oven tomorrow with our public works director when we have our city council meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
all right.
Oh,
Yeah, just to iterate the issues that are taking place, the EOC program is in financial difficulty right now. And, the issue is now you have to prepare for the worst, and it's coming down the pipe. And I can almost guarantee you that, there are gonna be some great cutbacks. And it's gonna affect, the program at a great magnitude. And, they already increased some prices already, if I'm not mistaken. Now, so there's some cost factors already taking place already on the seniors right now. So step back and consider these issues that are about to take place, and by the way, seniors and life, they paved the road for the community of Selma and other towns in our communities, to grow and prosper. And sometimes we have to step back and, take care of the seniors, because there's an old saying, would you treat your mother, father that way? Think about those issues.
Stella Ramirez, out California. I wanted to ask, so when the stove starts, working, they get the stove working, is that cook position, is it gonna be a voluntary position or is it gonna be a paid position? Have you guys thought about that yet? Just asking, curious.
I don't think we'd be the board to ask for the labor there, but
Okay.
I mean, tomorrow night, good
Yeah.
question to ask.
Okay,
The,
okay.
the one that we spoke to,
Mhm.
it was basically a volunteer. A volunteer,
Okay.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, good. Okay, and I just want to piggyback off of what our mayor said and also what our council member Jim Avalo said. It is true, EOC right now, it's not looking too good. Uh, a lot of things are happening there. So I worked for EOC for many years. And the kitchen there, the food services, there is other deliveries before they probably get to the singer place. Because they do provide services even for us over at the cafe. So they stop before they stop here. So that's probably why the food is probably warm. And I totally agree with Lorraine Avalos. I totally agree with that, that our singers do um, deserve a hot meal. We have veterans there, we have disabled people there, elderly, and they deserve the best. They really do. So I just wanted to voice that opinion on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question for EOC and for like the local restaurants here. Is there a contract or is that donated?
The food that
Yeah.
we will be purchasing,
No, that currently right now.
I have no idea. That would be probably ask Liz.
And the restaurants as well? Yes. Okay. Because I don't know if you guys know, the school district, the nutrition department also does catering. So that's also a thought as well. I don't know the details on that. I can get you the information in case you guys didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So not only that, but maybe we can collaborate also with our local restaurants. Not only that, it'll be a good platform for them as well. Maybe they can volunteer and serve the food as well. For example, Mercado and I believe United Market does like grilled chicken out there, tacos, something like that. So it'll be a good exposure for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz, if I remember right, when we did the food for COVID, weren't we getting some from the high school as well? We were, okay.
Yes, we have worked with Selma Unified in the past for food meal services as well. And so that's definitely a route that we can look into. And just to kind of touch bases on your ad hoc committee and what you guys are trying to do, just know that our seniors are going to be very grateful for whatever it is that you guys are willing to do for them. On average, I want to say we serve about 40 meals on our busier days, and on our not so busier days, we serve about 30. And so that's kind of the ballpark of where we're at for our larger events when we have a dance and some, if we're celebrating something, we can have upwards of 60, 65 meals that we serve on that day. So just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what that looks like. Within our city budget, we do also budget to purchase some of those meals from restaurants as well. And so that is something that I am currently budgeting for at this time. But again, whatever it is that you guys would like to assist with, they would be very grateful. Once that stove is set up and hooked up, just know they're going to have a lot of quesadillas because our staff knows how to make quesadillas. We're not necessarily the best cooks. I'll bake any day if you ask me to bake, but I have a personal chef at home, so I really can't do much other than quesadillas at this time. So that's it.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. If there's no other public comment on this item, we'll move forward to action items. Consideration of proposal request from City of Selma Summer Community Swim Program contingent upon the availability to provide lifeguards in the amount of $10,000.
I'm back, and this time I have amazing news. I have found lifeguards. It was definitely a mission to find candidates at this time. So I have about 6 lifeguards that are committed to helping us with this program. Out of the 6, 4 of them are not fully certified at this time, and so I'm currently working with a colleague in the city of Fresno that's going to assist us with certifications. And so basically what the program's going to look like is going to be very similar to what we've done with America Kids Swim. Swim America. I always forget the way the wording goes, but what it's going to look like is we're going to do Saturdays and Sundays starting June 14th all the way to August 3rd. We're going to open noon to 4, which is the exact same schedule that we've had in the past. But the only difference this year is we're going to make it free of charge to the community. In the past, when we were working with a different agency, they were the ones charging for the pool entrance. And so since we have um, oversight over the pool this year, and with us just trying to get this to move forward as quickly as possible, I would prefer that it were free of charge, only because then I would have to have another additional staff there to be charging at the gate. And so I was hoping that that would kind of eliminate some of that, the additional time that we would need, or that additional body that would need to be at the gate. And so what it's looking like, it's going to be 15 hours per pool day. That's 5 hours per 3 staff members at $20 an hour times 16 pool days, which is the number you have in front of you. And then I'm looking at about approximately another $4,000 worth of equipment. That's going to be their uniform, their hats, their umbrellas, their chairs, their fanny packs, first aid kits, rescue tubes, a spine board, and all that good stuff. So that's kind of what it's looking like at this time. I'm ready to order all the equipment as soon as tomorrow or the day after. I'm working with Waterman lifeguards right now to assist me with that. But for the lifeguard certification, I do have that scheduled for June 16th and June 17th over at the Selma High School. But I do have enough lifeguards to open the pool the Saturday before. So that's what I got.
Liz, the swim program that we've had in the past several years, that one was open during the week as well, correct?
Negative. It was
Only
only
weekends?
Saturdays and Sundays. Yes.
Always, okay.
Yes. During the week, if you see anything going on in the pool, it's usually the Aqua Bears practicing.
Okay, thank you.
For the equipment and all that stuff needed, so I just learned, or we just went through purchasing the Lucas devices for the firefighters, and they had to send their agreement all the way to city council in order to get it signed. An easier method to do so would be if you give us an invoice of the stuff you purchased, and then we cut the check for that invoice. Is there, or does the recreation department have the funds to pay for that stuff, like the equipment, and then we give you the check for that stuff afterwards? Or, because if not, then that agreement has to be signed first.
Okay.
I should have some money to purchase the equipment upfront.
I have a comment on that, Matthew. I watched the city council meeting when it was brought up, and per city attorney, didn't, he didn't agree or didn't understand why it was going to the city
Yeah.
council. As far as his comment,
Yeah,
it didn't need to go
before.
there.
Need the invoices,
It didn't need to go.
I can follow up and make sure
Okay.
that we do
I
it.
can-
correctly.
cards and equipment.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, would I make sure with him then? Okay.
Follow up.
Yeah, we'll figure that out then, because I guess it was the fire chief that was very skeptical, because he had to do that in his last city he was with, so. Alrighty, I guess we could, yeah, so anybody in the public would like to make a comment on this, or board members at this time?
So sorry, just to backtrack a little bit, in my current budget that we're proposing, I have added 6 lifeguard positions for the upcoming year to hopefully eliminate some of the headache that I had to go through this the last couple of weeks. And so I kind of just wanted to make you guys aware of that I am already currently planning for the upcoming year as well. So
Any public comment on this item at this time?
I think it's great that, this is moving forward. Hopefully, it's approved, but what Board Member Herrera mentioned that it's not open on the weekday, maybe we could start thinking of how to get those also during the summertime, some additional days for these kids, or maybe even start considering a swimming pool at the Salazar Center. That'd be great for them. Bring that back like the Edgecombe Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for Liz. Liz, what was the timeline on the certification for the lifeguards? Did I miss that? 70, okay.
All right. Any other public comment or comments from the board? Comments or questions from the board? Alrighty. Are we ready to, is there a motion on this? We're approving the.
I'll make a motion. to
Yeah.
approve it.
Second.
And then just so we're clear, the motion that we had approved last time was to allot up to $10,000 with that, and then the rest of us for fees. Do you want to, since there's no fee this year, would you like to have your motion allow for the equipment deal to go up to $10,000? So that would allow, basically it says approximately 4,000 right now. However, if it should go over, if your motion
Like the
says up to.
Invoices, we cut the checks out. to
Okay.
What the invoices are, and then we just let the board know that it went over.
Approved to max.
Okay.
Approved.
I'd say a total amount not to exceed 10,000.
Yeah. Is it okay to have yours? Yeah. Sweet. So the motion at hand is to approve the program and funding up to $10,000, or for the funding not to exceed $10,000 of the program.
Okay. Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Avalos, yes. Secretary Herrera
Yes.
and Chair Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thanks, Liz, for scrambling to make that happen.
I feel you. Alrighty. Moving on to action item 2, consideration of proposal request from Christian Cafe First United Methodist Church to provide a modern cooling system.
Hello, my name's Ken Robinson. I'm on the board of directors of the First United Church of Methodist Church of Selma, where the Christian Cafe operates every Wednesday night. I don't know how many of you have been. I know some of you have been, and some of you out here have seen what we do. I was going to explain the benefits of it, but board member Avalos was very eloquent in her appeal for the importance of feeding people for the public health. Our organization, what we do is a little bit different in that we're not doing it simply for seniors, but we have a lot of families come in. We have a lot of kids come in. It's every Wednesday night at our church, and it started out years ago with just our church doing it, and it became so big that or it became, I guess, so popular that other organizations and churches entered, and I have a list of, we have 12 teams, and some of them are businesses, some of them are other churches. Sal's Restaurant, Parks and Recreation Commission. I'm on the Parks and Recreation Commission. We have a team. The mayor and his family. So there's a lot of people involved. Several years ago, your group gave us a grant that allowed us to upgrade our kitchens. So we were able to get a new stove and refrigerator and freezer and tables and chairs. And that's been really, really good. We've been serving meals every Wednesday night to between probably 35 to 50 people. sometimes. This is Manuel Dominguez. He's the chair of our Christian Cafe Committee. Sylvia Garza's on our committee. Okay, so anyway, the issue we have now during the summer is that we have an old church. And our fellowship hall where we have our meals is heated by a, I used to call it a swamp cooler. What is it? It's a,
Operator.
Cool,
What?
yeah, swamp cooler.
it's a swamp, okay, it's a swamp cooler. And it's really difficult to keep it cool in the middle of summer. And it's pretty uncomfortable in there at times. And so we wanted to come to you and with the idea of getting a grant for $18,000 for a air conditioning system on top of on the roof of our church to cool down the fellowship hall where we do a Christian Cafe. That amount of money came from Albert Mendez, who's the local man that works on our air conditioning system and everything at the church. You know, all of our cooling and heating stuff. So the people who come to Christian Cafe have different needs. Some of them are families that this is one night out of the week that they don't have to, they don't have to spend money or stand in front of a stove to feed the family. A lot of them, like you said, are just people who want to have a meal with somebody else, because they live by themselves. And I think we all understand the need for that. So that's what we're here. That's what we're here about.
Good question.
Yes.
The AC unit you're talking about, that is to be put on a church building, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, and I don't have, Eugene Cariaga, who is working with Albert Mendez on about this and got that rough estimate from him, said he would have later this week a pretty detailed estimate
Invoice.
for us so that's all I have right now from him is just an estimate of what it would cost.
Okay. So the reason I asked you that question is because the food providing meals is one thing, and then the AC, it's separate.
Right.
So the AC is for a church building. The only issue that the big issue that I have with that is a business, whether it's a church or a store or, just a homeowner. If you buy a house, you're responsible for upkeeping, the maintenance of your home. Your AC goes out, just the homeowners here in town that we represent, we take their tax money. They're paying tax money for us to give it in grants. Their AC goes out, we're not buying them a new AC. They can't come to us to say, hey, we paid in that property taxes, can you buy me a new AC? So I just have a difficulty
Yeah, and I understand that.
doing that.
We're not talking about it for our just for our church. We're talking about it for the people that come on Wednesday nights to have dinner at the Christian Cafe to make it more comfortable for them.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah. So
But
that's what we're
yeah, my thought is it's a normal part of doing business. It's a business, it's a cost, it's a cost of doing business. You have to maintain your own equipment.
Right, and unfortunately, and you're right about that. Unfortunately, we are an old poor church.
Right. Thank you.
1 second. Did you have? another-
No, let Sylvia's.
Okay.
Sylvia
Okay.
Garza, and Mr. Herrera, I understand what you're saying, but as taxpayers, and our church does pay taxes, it's not going inside the church building. It's going to be for the social hall that we provide this service for the seniors and for the people that come in. And I understand what you're saying. If we were a homeowner, then of course we couldn't, we're not going to pay the homeowners. But this is something that we've been providing for over 30, almost 40 years for people in our community. We're not asking, maybe possibility cooling center, use it as a cooling center. I understand we only have one location. How many people want to go to the police department to be cooled off? We can talk to our board and see maybe 2 days out of the week when it reaches 105, we can be a cooling center for the community. But this is something that we have been doing for more than 40 years, serving our community, serving our seniors, serving families, our unhoused community. And I'm just very passionate about what we've been doing because it is something for our community. It's not something that, it's something that I can't even explain it because it's just heartfelt. But it's something that is in need. Anybody that came to our fundraiser on Saturday at our church, it was hot. If you had to go pick up that food, it was hot. That swamp cooler didn't do justice for us. We need something. And yes, like I said, years before, we didn't, we didn't need worry about, swamp cooler was just fine. But now today, these days, when it goes over 100, 105, there's no way to feed people. And our people that volunteer, it's hard on them, because it's just a bad. We want to continue to do this. And the only way we can continue to do this during the summertime is to have an AC unit that's going to, work for the seniors and for the people that come every Wednesday night.
Right. And I empathize with you. I really do. I think you guys do a great job. But I also know those homeowners that have their ACs that go out, like we did a couple of years ago. I didn't have 10,000 readily available. We went and got a loan. So, I mean,
My AC went out last year, so I totally
Right.
understand that. I had to pay for my own AC.
yeah.
But this isn't about me. This is about what we do for our community. This is what we do for our community.
Right.
We're not having people at our home regularly to feed.
Right, I understand that. I'm just talking about the facility. You own the building, you're maintaining it, you're responsible for maintaining it, keeping it in working condition. The taxpayers should not be the ones to pay for that. That's my thought.
Well,
Okay.
that's not my thought.
Has that changed to help us? And people.
Because at the time, I remember when you came to the board, and I was against providing like perishable foods, but I was all for, let's give you the equipment, is you needed someplace to store it. And that's great. But that's, tables, chairs, shelves, that's different. That's not something that you have to maintain. Like, you buy a car, you eventually you're gonna have to put new tires on it. So you have to save for that. Same thing with the AC or another swamp cooler. It's gonna go out, so you have to save for that. And if you don't, like a lot of us, we'll just we have to take out a loan.
Okay, Director Gutter.
Well, we all don't think the same up here, thank God. And I think that the church does a great service to the community. And even if we want to say all day and night, we're not feeding 60 to 70 people out of our house and our homes every week on every Wednesday. You guys are. This church is, this nonprofit. And I think it's great. I've been there many times to feed. I love it. So I have no problem with that. 18,000, no problem whatsoever.
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I just wanted conversation is there regards to the
Microphone close.
type of program that's being proposed and the district's current policy on granting applications, because district's policy provides that it'll make grants for direct healthcare services, health and wellness education, health and wellness promotion, access to health services, prevention programs and services, and efforts to develop and test new approaches to solving healthcare problems. And what's being proposed, as Director Herrera had mentioned, this is more of a facilities cost. So I think the district is a bit challenged here with regards to how to handle this proposal. But I also heard the idea of potentially providing for a broader use of the facilities as a cooling center. Maybe that's something you could speak about.
So, because I understand that you only have one cooling center in Selma, which is a police department, how many people are going to go to the police department to be cooled off? Not many. So if we can work with, I would have to talk to our board before we can, if we get their approval for the AC. I'm sure we would be more than happy to open up our church with help with our PG&E service, of course, but to allocate some time to open it up as a cooling center. It is hot out there. Anybody that was out there on Saturday and Sunday, it was terrible. You know, I'm lucky that I have a car that has great AC because getting out of that car into that heat was terrible. But I understand what you said about wellness. The people that come to eat, that might be the only meal that they get. And with the heating system or the cooling system that we have, it's not healthy for them. Okay? It's not healthy. I'm not asking you to do it for the church. We're asking you to do it for Christian Cafe, which provides a service. Yes, it's our church building, but it's a service that we provided over 40 years. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So if I could say something really quickly, um, being or having the understanding of how the healthcare district works, and what we ourselves set out to be our purpose statement, that that was set forth by the board quite a while ago. Well, actually, June in 2024. So prior to myself being on the board. Um, I I feel when something like this comes up, I feel like it is a very worthy cause for us to go through with and do. And it might not completely align with what the mission statement or anything says right now. However, it's almost an instance of putting the cart before the horse because in my eyes, I would like to revise that mission statement for the current board. Um, because this board might have a different idea collectively of what the last board did. So if we were, and then so this is specifically for my, my, um, not the board's, uh, not the board's opinion, however, just strictly mine. I wouldn't want to, um, have uh, a cause such as the Christian Cafe come through and not have a place, to put their not have a specific category to place their proposal into, because technically it doesn't fit within the guidelines of our own policy. So I would want to broaden at least a little bit of what our legal purview is, and I feel like it's a little constricted at the moment.
And
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. I'm saying I feel like our current policy does not, although our current policy doesn't say that, I would want to broaden our policy to allow for, programs like this to have a place to bring a proposal in. Not because this one specifically doesn't follow the guidelines of our, right now, the most a entity can come and ask for is $5,000 up to $100,000 a year, a fiscal year. So it doesn't fall within the guidelines of that, and then it also rides the line of healthcare as provided in our own policy. So I would, that's why I'm saying this is essentially a cart before the horse, because I would like to go back and revise the policy so that, not this one specifically, but more places that are very worthy of worthy causes to come and ask for money will come, and then the board can decide whether or not we would like to grant those or not.
I would add to that is that might also provide the applicant with time. That might, I'm not sure if this is working, that might provide you with time to revise your application to state more broadly how this will benefit the community with regards to opening it up as a cooling center as opposed to just providing for a modern cooling system.
And I understand that. We're having a board meeting right now. So as soon as we're done here, we're going to go to our board meeting. I can bring it to the board. But my concern is it's hot now. Okay, it is hot now. We need something now. We can't wait till July when people, so, I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take for you to revise the program or anything, but when I filled out the application, there was nowhere. We were not an RFP. And when I filled out the application 6 years ago, it was able to accommodate us. Okay, that application you have now on file, that you have on the line, does not accommodate. So we can't say we want $5,000 because we don't need 5,000, we need 18. Okay,
Yeah. Public statement?
I also like to say the number one word, health. We have to understand, we're here in the Central Valley. So everybody pays property taxes here and we all have different opinions. So hopefully you guys got to remember it was 105. And these people are serving, unless you're there doing it to visualize it, you're not going to understand. And we've been there more than 8 years serving, and we're there with 70, 80-year-old women that are cooking and being there volunteering. And we have kids, infants that come to this place to eat a meal on Wednesday. And God bless this Christian cafe and this place that allows these citizens to come that are having difficulty paying for their drugs, for their medications, for their necessity PG&E that's outrageous in the rates. They can't eat every day. This Wednesday night for them with their 3, 4, 5 kids, sometimes infants, toddlers, they come eat, and even them, they're sweating when they're getting their food. So it's a very sad situation unless you're there doing it. You're not going to understand it. So hopefully, if that's the route you guys are going to go to revise it, I hope it's like really quickly and not in July 17, immediately. This is something we need immediately. If it wasn't for Christian Cafe feeding these citizens on Wednesday night, guess where they're going to be? They're going to be out in the street begging for money. It's a place for them to go eat. So maybe you guys should allocate some money as well and go try it on Wednesday nights. Thank you.
The comment I have on that is, again, the organization and what they do is, I mean, top notch. I mean, you guys do a good service. I'm just wondering what the responsibility is from the church. Why doesn't the church maintain or provide or get a loan for their building?
If our church was able to get a loan, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. Okay? When Ken spoke, he said, it's a small church. It's a big building. Okay? We don't have what we had before. People don't go to church like they used to before, so we don't get the money that we got. So to provide a loan or any other grants, this is something that we do for our city, for our community. Okay? It's something we've been doing for over 40 years. And like I said, if we would be able to get the loan, we would have gone somewhere else. But there's nothing else that can provide. That's why we're here.
Like if it's just for our own congregation. Come on Wednesday nights for a meal and we're not asking it for big room we have. We're here for it.
Right, I hear you.
Thank you, Anthony. I have a gentleman in the queue.
So as a taxpayer, you ask me, if you were to ask me right now, where do you want to see your taxes go? This is where I want to see my taxes go. Not on high salaries or whatever, what have you. That's a whole different topic for tomorrow. But they also rent out their hall for funerals. We had a funeral for my aunt about 2 years ago, and we held it there. So it accommodates everybody. As Ms. Robertson said, if you're not out there actually doing the work, you won't understand. I proposed last time that you guys go out there, you know, as a board, put yourselves out there and do it. Because as somebody that has worked in the kitchen for many, many years, it's not cute. It's not fun. It's super hot in the kitchen. Um, so I don't see why there's an issue. You know, if say an elderly is eating, it's over 105, they have a heat stroke, their blood pressure goes high, they have a heart attack. What are you gonna do? Yeah, well, because it's you know, you don't want to provide this for them. I don't get it. I don't see I don't see it. So please try to help me understand because like you just said, this is our money. This is our taxpayer money. This is where I want to see it go. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So again, I understand it's an emotional discussion, but again, try to separate the food from the building and the facility. Um, if we do this, we're opening up to other organizations coming for the same thing, replace equipment on their buildings. And I don't see it.
Organizations like that.
No.
I'd appreciate if it wouldn't
Possibly.
shout before the board. Are you done?
Scott Robertson. So just to weigh in on this, it's beyond, I believe, an emotional argument. I think that's part of it. I think we all support Christian Cafe 100%. I think we've got to put our money where our mouth is, literally all as taxpayers here. I've been one of those volunteers in July, and it is ugly there. It's tough, and you see these families come in and with kids and with elderly, and they come here because they need the food. Brings me back to the other point, which is this is separate from individual households in that it's an organization providing a service and a product, which is food for free. It's not a business. Board member Herrera, it is a nonprofit organization providing a service as a complement to the community. It's not charging. So there is these are people that are invited to come out who are in fact in need of a service, and that separates it from a home that just needs some capital. This is definitely an ask for capital because they're going to pay their own PG&E. This is just a request to help them to make their provision of their service, which is also for a cooling center. I would argue that it is already functioning as a cooling center. I mean, as hot as it is in July, people still go out and go in there, and it's cooler in there with the swamp cooler than it is out on the streets. And you can see people kicking it in there for as long as they possibly can until Manny gets up and puts the tables and chairs away. And Sylvia does the final prayer and does the birthday song. I mean, people they get their bread. I would argue that it is already functioning as a cooling center. And in that respect, I think it deserves the board's consideration tonight as both a grant for provision of this nonprofit organization providing food, but also as providing a cooling center. And that is true. The city only has one cooling center, and it is a room in the Selma Police Department, which does deter certainly some people from actually using it. And again, I think that the board could very well fit this ask within your policy. And if not, you are the board and you could go back and make an exception with a majority vote in terms of the policy, and then to go back and look at the policy in the future. But even if you didn't want to override your own policy, which you as a board are fully able to do, I believe that this is a request for a cooling center and for equipment to provide that cooling center, which is extremely health related to the citizens of Selma who really need this, and they really need you, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, concerns from the board?
I mean, it's an action item, right? So we are voting on it, correct?
Pending a motion, yeah, we could vote on it.
Okay. Are we done discussing it?
Yes. At first I was questioning because if we make this allowance with you, then that opens us up to other churches to come in and ask. But if you're going to use it as a cooling center, to me, that makes the difference.
I think that would have to be a contingency for sure.
No, why? It's too hot. Now they're feeding on Wednesdays already. It's over 100 degrees already. They need the cooling system now.
That, they could still be a contingency motion today, correct?
You can vote on it.
Yeah,
If anything, I would make it contingent upon the
Their board,
nonprofit
yeah.
agency negotiating terms to have this open as a cooling center more
yeah,
broadly.
that's what, we could still do it today. It doesn't have to go to July 17th. It's just contingent upon them, their board using it as a cooling center. It, I guess it would depend on the amount of days or specific hours and days and stuff.
Okay, so
Then-
we're voting right now on the contingency that you guys are gonna come back and let us know it will or not will be a cooling center to get this $18,000.
Well, I can tell you now with three of us here, I don't think the board's gonna just, is gonna agree that, we can be used as a cooling center for now. And, and we just have to go to the board and determine how many days and, who's gonna volunteer and things like that. So I don't see it being an issue, but it just needs to be approved by your board, which is meeting tonight.
Okay, so I want to make a motion to grant the 18,000 for the AC on pending the, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Al.
Oh, okay. I just want to add to that really quick. I don't know if this would maybe just an idea I thought about right now. You said that if you revise the, what is it, the
Anything.
Board
rules of
policy.
conduct rules, that it would open up a whole,
Different
yeah,
opportunities.
to other agencies, or to other organizations. But maybe, because they have been around for, you said 30 years? 40 years. 40 years, that's a big difference to, like say somebody opens it up maybe a year or two and then they want to apply for, this much money. Why don't you put like grant money to those that have been around for more than 10 years? That way, they're more established, that they've been there for that long. Or you can add you can modify this any way you want, but you can add to that, years, instead of just opening it up and say their AC breaks down. This is another organization, and then they apply within 1 year, and they are not fully established to where other organizations are like theirs. They're not only opening it up to the citizens that go and eat there, but also they said a cooling center. Also, it's true, we rented it out for my aunt a couple of years ago, there for the, what is it, the reception. So it's not only just for the citizens to go eat, it's also for other things. So, I think that this should, as a taxpayer, as it was mentioned, as a taxpayer, I also agree that I would like to see my money invested in this. So the citizens do have a place to go, because unless you don't walk in their shoes, you don't understand where they're coming from. You do not understand. I'm talking about the citizens that go eat there. These are hard times, very hard times. You got PG&E, you got gas, you got food. You know what? They deserve this. So if I want to see somewhere where my taxpayers' money is going, I want to see it go there. Thank you.
Any other public comment before we hear a motion?
I just have one more comment. Okay, I just wanted to say that I was told by a board member when they came on that they had understood from other people all around that we were nothing but a welfare case. We would give money out to everybody. And I just want to, want to know that that's not the case in this. This is something that's real, that's necessary for health, because we could have seniors out there. They could have strokes. They could die from heat out there. Children, children can get dehydrated just like that. And so I just want it known that, we're not here, as this person said, a welfare to just come and get money whenever, that we give out anything and everything. And that's not true. We do research things. We do check into things. We check our policies. And if we have to change our policies, then we change them. It's like we gave what? Money to mental health. We gave them a lot of money. Okay?
$200,000.
Yeah, we gave them a lot of money. And, there were quite a few patients there that were not from Selma. But yet, they got their money. So therefore, what I want to say is that I just don't want us to be known that we're just handing out money here and there, here and there. We really take our time to look at what our proposals are and what the need is. And right now, what I see is we really need a cooling center. Thank you.
I have a comment. Reframed as a cooling center, I can be, for that. And I understand the need for like, to hurry and get this done. However, the board, you guys have a big commitment because you also have to look at the cost of electricity to run that cooling center, how many days, how long, how many hours. And again, this goes above and beyond what our mini grant. We're capped at 5,000. So we're going to be going to 18,000. So I would like to see, now that we're going to reframe it as a cooling center, what are the commitments going to be? How many days, how many hours? I know you don't have that yet. You're going to meet tonight, but I would like to see that submitted before we actually approve the full
So
18,000.
right now, it can be a cooling center on Wednesday because we're there already. So for every Wednesday, it can be considered a cooling center. Once we talk to the board and see what other days we want to do it, then we'll come back. But for now, every Wednesday will be a cooling center. And we'll check on the times. We're not saying just 5 o'clock to certain, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, but maybe, like maybe 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Okay? Because it's going to take volunteers to do this, which I'm sure I have volunteers already. We have volunteers that have already, that I've talked to that, can commit to it. But as of now, today, I can honestly say it can be a cooling center every Wednesday night. Okay? And we can do it starting at 1 o'clock, and they can, see how it goes. And if we have to add another day until the city of Selma gets another cooling center, then we'll do that.
So I could see that this be approved contingent on revised application that would also include the cooling center.
Mr. Herrera,
Just to revise the paperwork, that's what I'm saying.
are
Right
you
now,
gonna
it
have that
doesn't state
application ready for
anything.
me tomorrow? Because tomorrow night, we're feeding 60 people. Okay? As soon as we get the approval, we get that check, the air conditioning guy is gonna go in and install that. Okay? It's really important. I'm not saying that, we're not, tomorrow I know we can't get it done. But at least by next week, that we can have something for these people to come and eat dinner comfortably. Okay? I mean, if you can get me the application, email it to me tonight, fine, I'll fill it out and everything. But I also need to know that, are we gonna have another board meeting to discuss this and put it on hold for another vote?
No, what I was saying, it was just contingent on just revising your application. If we vote, we will vote for it, right? Just
Yeah, so the
just
vote-
add that to the current one.
The vote can take place tonight, and from the way that Treasurer Gallardo was framing the deal, it would basically just be contingent on, the check would be written contingent upon your board agreeing, in writing, I'm sure, to
Add the cooling center.
add that center as a cooling center for said time in that agreement, whatever we decide to put in there.
Okay, so I want to make a motion for the 18,000 to the Christian Cafe
I
for
second.
Contingent, yeah.
and you bringing back the hours for it to be ran. We already know Wednesday is obviously in one day. So you bring us back that 18,000, give me the invoice and we'll get that going. That's what my motion is for, to vote. I'm making the motion for the 18,000.
Yeah, I second.
So then for clarification, the motion is to grant the $18,000 contingent upon the Christian Cafe, the church board, I guess, allowing the Christian Cafe the hall to be used as a cooling center, days to be determined. Yeah. How, should we put a days limit on that or just contingent?
Contingent upon the applicant.
once that
resubmitting the
does,
application.
we're gonna work to get it done ASAP, so. Yeah, so that's the motion today, just so, and everybody understands it. Okay.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Avalos, yes. Secretary Herrera,
Yes.
Chair Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on to the next item, consideration of proposal request from Selma Boys and Girls Club to keep the triple play program going in Selma.
Yay. All right.
I sent that through email, but did you get?
Hello, everybody. My name is Ruby. I'm the unit director for the Selma Boys and Girls Club. We run the club every day, Monday through Friday. We have about 25 kids every day where they come and have programs, learn about leadership. Two of the programs that we do run at the Boys and Girls Club is Triple Play and Healthy Habits. These programs allow the kids to learn about sports, learn about health, learn about eating better, just different lifestyles than they have been brought up with. And there's been so much change within the club. I've been there for 5 years and I've got to see kids just learn so much through these programs that we get to run. A lot of the kids just nowadays, especially because of COVID, they want to be on their game systems. They want to watch TV, all of them trying to do TikToks. And so we're teaching them because obviously or not obviously, but I got the chance to be a kid when I was a kid and we got to play. So we get to teach the kids things that we learned. We got to teach them how to do hopscotch. And this dinosaur game that we introduced to them, it was so much fun. It was so new to them. And we get the opportunity to expose them to being outside. We get to expose them to fruits and vegetables. We get to expose them to the different kinds of sports that are available to them other than just playing on their phones, on the Xbox, on the PlayStations. So we have that grand opportunity to be able to show them these things that are possible to them. So we're here today asking for help with this program to continue to give them the opportunity through Triple Play, through Healthy Habits with our kids. I don't know what I'm
Questions from
supposed to
the board?
say.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yes.
I know we've been supporting your organization for a really long time.
Yes.
I know you guys do great work. My wife has volunteered out there. I didn't get the email with your proposal, and I just saw it right now. But I know in the past, discussions that I've had with Diane Carberry,
Yes.
I have an issue with salaries, us paying for salaries. And in the past, she's made changes with her allocations.
Mhm.
So we did not pay for salaries.
Correct. So I did ask about what this grant would be covering. It wouldn't be covering salaries. So the grant, that's what I was told today, that it would be covering the program itself, equipment, things that are needed for the programs itself.
Okay, because I do see a program assistant for $2,600.
Oh, there is one. I'm sorry. There was a program assistant, yes. Just one. There's three of us that work at Boys and Girls Club. And they did say, she did tell me that there was that part of one program assistant. I apologize. Thank you.
That's the only issue I've had
Right.
in the past with that, and I still currently do.
$7,690.
Would this program still run without us paying the salary base? So that would be, 5,000. It would be 5,090.
Yes. Yes, it
5,000
would.
Exactly. Without that program assistant, it'd be exactly 5. Or completely.
So are you saying that we vote on paying that, or we can vote on not?
I have a question. Is it just not within our purview to do that, or is that like something that
It's just this one time.
boards generally don't do, or?
My previous concerns about salaries is, I guess I don't have anything specific, to gauge it by, but, if the money's going for the kids, I'm all for that. Anything, because I know you guys provide meals and a lot of activities. So I just have a difficult time when the money's not going to the kids in that organization. I know administrative costs are there. And in the past, yeah, Diane's had, again, moved some money around to pay for the salaries, and we paid for more of the direct costs for the kids. That's just my issue, is not direct for salaries, but more, everything goes to the kids. That's my take.
No, I understand that. And I imagine that is there because we do need the staff in order to run the programs. And without the staff, no programs would be ran. And it would just be help providing for one staff as opposed to all three. So that would be my take on that.
So, for legal, is there any legal repercussions for us providing funding for any staff for a program?
Well, there might be the legal considerations, but also going back to the policy is that idea behind the program is to not replace funding for a particular program or an employee in this circumstance.
Mhm.
So essentially, from what I'm hearing, the employee is already an employee of the agency. So presumably, there's already funding for that employee.
Mhm.
And so the funding, as revised, to remove the 2,690 would put the grant in alignment with the mini grant program.
Okay. And then the question for Boys and Girls Club was, this position, the program assistant, already budgeted for in your guys' like yearly or annual costs? Or was it assumed to be asked for today? I'm sorry.
It's
that's
usually,
probably
no.
a
I
specific
would
question.
love to answer that completely and totally honest. It's just, that's usually ran through the administration part of it. And so I don't have that answer at the moment.
And then the second follow-up is this isn't somebody you would need to hire to run the program?
No.
It's somebody who's already
No, we are fully staffed.
Okay.
Okay, and then so really quick again, the program you can still run it. if we grant the minus the $2,600, you will still run this program for the kids.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. A comment or no?
Or any members of the public like to weigh in on this? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, we've got one.
The history of the Boys and Girls Club has been remarkable, an asset to the community. And the reason why I say that is in the past, when we didn't have any Boys and Girls Club, and this is true, we had crime in the street. It was out of control. We had shootings in that area where the Boys and Girls Club took place in that era. And we didn't know that they came a long time ago to come to the city of Selma until one day Mr. Scott Robertson and I met these people by chance. And we realized that in our community, we had an issue on our streets. We know that our officers couldn't be, how would I say it, doing these programs. They were cutting, their programs and everything was taking place, but it was a different time. And when these people came to us, it changed that era. It changed that geographic where it's at now. Crime, if you look at the crime stats, it's down. And these kids that go there are future leaders in our community. And it's working. It's not the question is not working. It's an investment for the future of the future of these kids. And people say, well, it takes staff members. We understand that, but it's the outcome that you see that comes out of it. That's the reward. See, and when we had an issue on the streets, not this recent, about a month ago, not too long ago, on fentanyl, Boys and Girls Club, they invited, Officer Rudy, the chief of police, to go there and talk about this because we knew we had to nip it in the bud. There's no question about it. It's on the streets. It could be anybody's child. And the question is, we have to educate the future of these kids, what's out there. If you leave them in the dark, let them run in the streets wild, they're going to be, as a kids, you're growing up, somebody ever dared you do something? Hey, you're chicken. You know what I mean? Let's face it, people have done that to us when growing up. You're chicken. Don't do that, right? It happens. But same thing in life. When we have programs like Boys and Girls Clubs, it takes away that dare of kids getting in trouble. They're at a place where they're safe. They're learning about life and how to become leaders in our community. It's working. It's not a question. It's not working. I know it's working. I've seen the past and I see where it's at now. And I'm all for it.
Bravo,
Trust me.
your 3 minutes.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
The additional funding for an additional part-time person, excuse me. I could understand that. I totally get that. However, going now that school's going to be out for the summer, they're probably going to have more kids. I've been there during the summer and there's a lot of kids. So maybe just the liability reasons, the fact that they want another body to, depending on what their activities are going to be, some are outside playing certain thing with water, some are inside playing. It just depending, and I would like to see if that's part of the proposal of bringing in another body to help watch the kids during the summertime, because you got to remember there's a lot of families that take their kids there because they still got to go to work and these kids are not allowed to go to school anymore. School's out. So it's a place for them to attend, but they probably just need that additional body. I could understand that, but I can relate what you're saying, but because it's summer and I think they probably thought about that at the very end and threw that in. But I would like to see what that 26 is for and possibly guarantee it's going to be more kids for the summer. Thank you.
All right.
I make a motion to approve, for the mini grant max of 5,000.
Well, it would be, minus the 2,600. If we don't approve that, it comes out to $5,090.
It's 2,690 is the person or the deal. So everything else is 5,000 even.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a different amount.
That 5,000 is just everything except the program assistant.
Okay.
Second.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Okay. Treasurer Herrera.
Yes.
Your turn.
Treasurer Gallardo.
Yes.
Avalos, yes. Chair Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay. I just need to check with you tomorrow.
Alrighty. Are there any other comments from the board before we close? I usually try to allow for that.
What do we do?
No,
Well,
it's just adjournments next to the next regular board meeting. Agenda items for this next board meeting, anybody?
have anything ready right now?
Update on legal for the next board meeting.
Okay.
Well, we talked about the Christian Cafe too, for their feeding.
No, we didn't. For the. Before they came. Off board. Orderly.
So then that would be, probably put that inside, yeah, that's separate. You could probably put that in your, the same.
They're both.
Yeah, that was part of the.
Technically, yes. it'd
We
be
had two
different.
different things going.
Yeah, so one of them is the senior center one, and then
Yeah.
also another one is to basically, I guess sponsor one of the days, feeding at the Christian Cafe. So it's a different place, just same, would it be under the same ad hoc or? Yeah, that is. I would think so. I mean, it's just allocating a certain amount to each one,
5,000
for the
each.
same purpose of feeding, just at different places. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, so that would kind of be, within the ad hoc, so we'll make sure that it's within that one to, like, the two initiatives would be within the same category, yeah.
I'm happy to work with whoever the point person is on getting that purpose statement in final form, so it's ready for the next agenda as needed. Just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be great. Alrighty, if nothing else, then we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:29.
Thank you.